Hello and welcome to another edition of Fide's podcast. My name is Jerry Serino and I'm your host, and I'm here with talent on loan from Rush. And one of the things that I have been doing, and I hope I have done a good job of it, is educating all of you with knowledge, faith, and truth. Knowledge is so important for all of us, especially, quite frankly, our college students who are getting a big dose of indoctrination, as I have shown on this show many, many times, and is evidenced all over the place by what's going on in our universities. But throughout the country, everyone is being, quite frankly, lied to. The truth is being hidden, and it's hard to really know who to trust. At the end of the day, we have to rely on ourselves to do the research on all sorts of things and use common sense. And one area that's been hit, I think, pretty hard, definitely for me, is really all that went on with COVID. I don't know that I have any faith in our public health officials. I am skeptical of what certainly is put out there by the pharmaceutical companies, and consequently, sadly, even some doctors and hospitals. Although I think doctors are phenomenal people, and most are very, very fantastic with the right goodness in mind. My guest today is Foster Coulson. He is the founder and CEO of the wellness company, and he is going to talk to us about sort of natural, ways to take care of your body and yourself, and also inform you about, again, the truth about all this stuff that we are being consumed with by people who are not being honest with us. So, Foster, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Jerry. I'm excited.
Yeah, my pleasure. So let's maybe start off real quick, because sorry for going being a little bit long-winded in the beginning. That's not my intention. The show was about you, and what you need to talk about and educate us on. But let's start off with the wellness company, and tell me why you started it and how you started it.
Yeah, thank you. I think, we all kind of have this life before COVID happened, or before 2020, after 2020. Mine was always focused on environmental impact companies, and I had a successful career as an entrepreneur building companies focused on that environmental component. When 2020 hit, it really opened my eyes, and I got to know a doctor by the name of Dr. Vladimir Zelenko. An amazing man. He was one of the first that came out with the treatment protocol of hydroxychloroquine and zinc. He supported President Trump when he got COVID. And as I got to know him and I helped him start his company, and I got close to him, I started to learn about how corrupt this system is, how big pharma keep you in a perpetual state of sickness your entire life to profit off you. And then I looked at these physicians, these people that take an oath to help you. And so many of them are just vending machines and Pez dispensers for drugs from big pharma. And so I looked at a very broken system that I think we all agree we were all shown throughout 2020. And so as I got to know
Foster, so I don't mean to interrupt you. So there's a bit of an echo. It sounds like maybe the like sort of reverberation. It's not awful. It's okay if we had to keep it, if that's the best.
Is but it just still?
Yeah, they're a little bit. I'm not sure what it is.
See if I have headphones. I haven't heard that one before. That one's new to me today. I can
okay.
Go look if
no, keep going. Yeah, it's not horrible. It's just I'm sorry, I forget where you left off.
No worries. I can just pick back up whenever you tell me to.
Okay, yeah, just go ahead wherever you need.
So I got to know this Dr. Vladimir Zelenko, and he helped me understand just how corrupt this system is. And as I looked around and I saw these amazing doctors, Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Harvey Risch, we have Dr. Drew Pinsky that's now joined our board as well. We all got together and we determined, how do we build something that can rebuild this credibility of the doctor-patient relationship, that can provide great natural products and actual treatments that can help people, that can individualize your body. So you're not just, another person where they generalize a treatment protocol and then they say, well, here, you need this, right? So I think that was the foundation of the wellness company. And once we got going, it's, every company kind of has its bumps in the roads. It gets started, but now we're probably one of the faster healthcare companies for growth in America. And we're helping a tremendous amount of people, and a lot of people are relying on our doctors and our natural products that we're creating that are backed by science. Imagine that. And that's where we're at today.
Yeah, that's a great story, and you mentioned hydroxychloroquine. That was an eye opener for me when that first came in. I always like to say, it took me 3 days to learn to pronounce
Same here.
hydroxychloroquine. You're right. So I'm not suggesting that as soon as I heard it, I went, "Yep, that's the solution." End of. Let's move on. And but what amazed me is that just doing a basic research showed that there was, at the very least, it was promising. And if you maybe, I'll give you a second to tell everybody about hydroxy as far as its history and everything like that. But the left immediately attacked and sought to destroy, and did destroy, many good doctors who were simply using it. They didn't even express an interest in learning about it. And hey, maybe it would show that it wasn't helpful or whatever. Fine, so be it. But immediately they destroyed it, destroyed doctors, censored people. I couldn't even speak about it on social media without being censored.
Yep.
Just for saying the word. And that was my first indication that they do not care about saving your life or helping you. They only care about winning the argument, I guess, from a political standpoint. But so go into hydroxychloroquine, just the history of it.
Probably because it was Trump that came out and talked about it.
I know,
right?
that
Probably
I agree
if
with.
it was Biden, everybody would have loved it. It would have been a non-issue, right?
Right.
And I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
There's just so much hate on a side about a person who, in my mind, from what I've seen, has done nothing but try and help this country. And I don't want to get overly political here, but I do believe that was a big component about what happened. And yeah, they took it off the shelves. I mean, I'm just like you, Jerry. I couldn't pronounce it. I was like, hydroxy what? And now, these are kind of household names of products that you need to have. And, that's exactly why we got into our prep kits. That's exactly why we built these pharmaceutical prep kits that have life-saving drugs that you should have on your shelf. Right? You shouldn't be fearful of what's going to happen next. You need to be prepared. You need to have solutions. We will fight their fear with solutions. And that's why I think one of our really great product lines that we have are our prep kits. They have things like hydroxychloroquine. They have ivermectin. They have nebulizers with budesonide, right? They have amoxicillin. So I think that this is the new world that we live in, where we saw during COVID, so many of these generic life-saving drugs that actually made a difference were taken off the shelves, were hidden from us. We need to put ourselves in a position to take back control of our health, to actually have our health sovereignty, so that nobody can tell us what we can or can't put in our bodies.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something coming out of this that we've learned a lot, and that we're helping a tremendous amount of people prepare for with these products and services that we're offering and bringing to the world. Because in this day and age, you just need it. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, and like I said, it was eye-opening to me to see how, and I know people who were worried about their elderly parent or grandparent and the like, and how many people still, in spite of that, were willing to go along with censoring and destroying doctors, rather than maybe saying, I'm hopeful that what they're saying is correct for the sake of my parent or grandparent or somebody like that. And instead it was like they were almost willing to let their loved one die rather than get cared for. So it does lead you to believe, that, well, if they're willing to do that for hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, they called horse dewormer, right?
Horse paste.
Give me a break. And you wonder, and this is again the point of your company, is to say, what else are they hiding, because not only did they do that with hydroxychloroquine and other things, that they also, have lied to us severely about the
Yeah.
vaccine without
And look,
question.
they've shown us their playbook, right? So shame on us for not preparing for the next time they do it. They actually go to the point of telling you what they're going to do. That's how egotistical they are. So from our point of view, we need to look at that. We need to learn from what happened. And we need to build really great products and services to help people so you don't have to be fearful. Another pandemic comes up, no problem. We'll be at the forefront attacking the narrative saying, this is not dangerous. You don't need to be worried about this. We have solutions. We have protocols. We have the best chief medical team, probably the most credible chief medical team of any health and wellness company out there today, that's helping guide our doctors and helping guide our decisions as a company to create great products and protocols that actually can make a difference. And, again, to your point about the vaccines, we live in this really weird world right now where people can just say something and suddenly it's fact. And, people say safe and effective, right? It's safe and effective. Don't worry about it. You can take it. It's fine. And people do that across the board on everything right now. And what I suggest in every aspect is have some critical thinking to challenge this, right? Don't just, if someone writes it in a Substack or you hear it on Fox News, you need to challenge everything you're hearing that is not backed by facts. And I think that that's something that is a big shift that needs to take place in this world, because there's a lot of just people spewing lies about everything right now, about what you can do, what you can't do, what you can put in your body, right? Again, case in point, vaccines are safe and effective. And I think in this world that we live in, where social media can be so rampant about people just saying what they feel that isn't actually backed by facts and truth. To me, what COVID really showed me is challenging everything that I'm hearing, and again, gravitating towards the most credible people to try and listen to the things that they're saying that can really help you.
Yep. Yeah, no question, no question. And I have up on the screen for those watching and not just listening, I have up the website, and we'll go over it very briefly so everyone could kind of understand and can navigate there. I'm also scrolling the website at the bottom of the screen. So again, if you're watching and not listening, you can see all that. If you're listening, it's twc.health.com.
Nope, no .com. Nope, sorry.
Oh,
Just
I'm sorry.
twc.health. I know it's a tricky one.
I will fix that actually.
No worries. Just twc.health. That's
okay. There we go. I'll edit part of this out at least. Yeah. So okay. So twc.health. Go there and check it out. I'm scrolling it.
There we go.
I had the wrong site. Just for those of you watching, it's look at it now. It's twc.health. There's no .com.
There we go.
And I'm showing it here, and we'll go through it in a second and talk about it and all that good stuff. And so I want to maybe point out and have you comment on what other we talked about the vaccine. They were so quick to not just support the vaccine, but obviously they mandated it, upended people's lives, threatened their freedoms and liberties, their jobs, overtaking the vaccine. And obviously brand new. It was only approved as an experimental vaccine drug. Yet some of these drugs, like you're mentioning, have been out for decades and decades and used throughout the world, and were inexpensive and readily available. And so they did all that. They insisted, even though there was no data. And then it obviously doesn't work, because people got COVID and continue to get COVID left and right, even after the vaccine. And what was their response? Keep taking it.
It's safe and effective.
Get another booster. Right. So you can't even, right, exactly. And you can't even trust that the people that are supposed to be looking out for your health, advising us, the FDA and so on, they're not, properly releasing adverse events from the vaccine. So I hate to say it, because I love doctors, and we all know doctors that we, care for us greatly and have done great things for us. And so most are very, very good. But when an issue becomes political, it becomes highly corrupted. And that's very, very sad. So, okay, so I want to take a look at the website here. Again, for those of you watching, here's the website. Go to twc.health and check it out. And you can go on a couple of things. Are there a couple areas maybe I can pull
Yeah,
up
if
for
you go to
everybody and you can kind
medkits,
of
yeah,
point out?
you can click on medkits, or you can just go to the home. There we go, all medkits, and you can kind of see some of what we talked about. There you go. So you can see those are our
There we
two,
go. It's
and
a little slow.
we have some other kits coming out as well. We have a travel medical kit coming out that is a different kit per continent. We have some really other unique kits coming out too that are going to hit in the next few weeks. And I think it's just so important to be able to be prepared and have these things on hand, because I remember so many people close to me were getting COVID, and they were going to try and get hydroxychloroquine at the time, and literally the pharmacies were saying no. They had a stockpile of hydroxychloroquine that they cut off, and no one could use it. And I think we have to be prepared. So if this happens again, we have everything that we need. So people don't need to be concerned or live in fear or what if or how do I deal with this? And so these have been built by our chief medical team, who have looked at potentially what's coming down the line. What potential future, pandemic, fear-based control narratives are they going to push at us? And how can we make sure that our customers and our patients are prepared for that, so that they don't have to live in that type of fear and concern in the world? So that's been a big focus for us. Of course, we have really great nutraceuticals too. We have some really great supplements. One of our supplements is our spike support formula. So there is a tremendous amount, there is a tremendous amount of data now on vaccine shedding. And by the way, vaccine shedding is not a new thing. Vaccine shedding has happened for pretty much since vaccines started to hit the market decades ago. But it's becoming more important when you start talking about spike protein shedding from vaccines. And how do you deal with that? And how do you, or if you've had the vaccine, how can you try and give your body the best chance it can to fight back at what I think some of these vaccines are potentially doing in people? So there's some amazing data and research from Dr. Peter McCullough that we've published right on our website that you can go to when you're on this page. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can read it all. You can read what nattokinase does for you. You can read how nattokinase fights against spike protein. There you go. There's some of our ingredients. Dandelion root, how it affects it. And so do we think that this is the magic serum to solve all? No. But I think as a company, what we're trying to do is create products with that there's as much data as possible that can try and help you be the healthiest version of yourself. Will we ever know for certain that you can eliminate spike protein in your body from taking nattokinase? Not until it goes through clinical trials, right? Because that's what a clinical trial does. I'm not saying it is not necessarily an entirely corrupted process that you go through, but I think there are processes in place to ensure efficacy of products. And instead of that, there's natural products and there's data and science and the best that you can pull that have shown a positive result. And so that's what we're trying to do as a company. And that's what we're trying to put the best products we can in front of our customers to try and create a positive result for them. And we have tens of thousands of customers that are on products like this product, Spike Support, with nattokinase. And the feedback is tremendous about how it does help and about how it is helping people and how it does help them feel. And so those are things that I think we rely on as a company, that we publish as a company, that we can try and bring that data to our customers in the market to say, look, here, we have something, there's data on it, and we recommend that it can hopefully help make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. Now, what I like about this is, if you go to even just your local drugstore up the road or anywhere, you're going to find usually an aisle with supplements and all sorts of things. And you're just, you're kind of just picking blindly in a sense. What I like about this is you could come here and you could dig into what these are. and have further data. It's not just something on the shelf and you go, oh look, vitamin B, and you grab it and pay a ton of money for it, and who knows what it's all about. I do like, and I'm interested in the virtual care, because we've become a virtual society since COVID. That's maybe one of the, well, there was goods and bad with that aspect of it, but certainly virtual medical care is very real and very good, right? Obviously there's a lot of things you need to do in person, and you need to see a doctor and so on, but there's also plenty that you can do, as I said, virtually. And so, that was a question, especially with COVID, is people who said, well, I have an elderly parent who's 85 years old and in terrible health, and hey, I'd love to try hydroxychloroquine or something. And they didn't know where to go. As you said, pharmacists were refusing to fill it, and doctors were being fired for even talking about it.
Yep.
So what if someone comes here, they could tell us about the virtual care?
Yeah, and so rewinding back to supplements for a sec, what you just mentioned is entirely correct. And there's not, back to critically thinking for a minute.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous amount of the supplement nutraceutical companies are being bought out by big pharma right now, and they want to own the entire health and wellness component together. And so I think it's really important that you challenge, what companies are you supporting? What companies' products are you buying and are you ingesting? Because I can tell you, Jerry, there are companies out there that are using low quality ingredients that are full of pesticides and chemicals. And so you're taking these things that you think are helping, but in reality, they're actually contributing to you feeling even worse. And right, nobody's really challenging that. So again, a part of supporting the wellness company with our products and what we're creating is we put every penny back into building this parallel economy. When you talk about virtual care is great for some things, but we also know that we need to start building out physical care clinics as well, because building that bridge between the two is how you really make an impact in this market, in this world, for so many people. So for us, having great doctors, having places you can go, building that bridge is really important. And we can't do it without our customers. So we have so many supporting us that are helping us build this company and supporting our products and services. And as I mentioned, every dollar goes back in. We're huge supporters of this conservative movement. I mean, we just signed a $6 million deal with Rumble for all their creators to support what they're doing. We're supporting so many affiliates and influencers and other doctors, because we know we're a conduit to generate revenue that needs to be reinvested back in. Because if we don't, you're never going to build a parallel economy. You know why? Because those people are going to have to go back into hospitals and work for this corrupt system. Media companies can't survive, because when they stood up for COVID, and when they stood up for telling the truth, by the way, all their ads supporters were pulled because they were trying to control them. So this supporting one another, I think, is actually extremely critical in building this parallel economy, because we all have to do it together. One of us by ourselves can't do it. We all rely on each other, right? Just like what you're doing, right? Educating your audience and allowing us to come on and talk about our products and services, and just our cultural belief as a company and what we stand for. It's all interconnected, and it's all so important.
Yeah, really, really good point. I love the point of that you also want to look at good companies that you can trust, because I guess you can't really trust a lot of companies these days, to be honest. You certainly can't trust I'll be honest, I mean, the FDA has been corrupted for a long time. I think the NIH, we find out that a lot of the people at the NIH are being paid by pharmaceutical companies, medical companies, and that's the problem right there, is you have to be able to trust who you're doing business with, because they can have someone could have all the PhDs and behind their names. If they're willing to lie or they're willing to be corrupt, then all of that education or knowledge is irrelevant. So yeah, so this is really good information, and again, I'm still scrolling for those watching. I'm still scrolling the website at the bottom. And so it works like you can go on, you could obviously just buy anything you want as you
Yeah,
go through it. You could also, get a membership, and then you get certain discounts. Maybe explain that a
discounts.
little bit.
Yeah, so we have various ways you can interact with the company. We have kind of a monthly flat fee where it has unlimited care and it has products. We have memberships that, again, help us support what we're building and help give discounts on products. And then you can come in and you can buy a one-off product without any type of membership. And, Jerry, you're right about these agencies. I don't know what agencies that actually get funded by industry that's acceptable, right? So when you
Hmm.
when you look at FDA accepting money in donations from big pharma, I don't know how that's credible, how that's acceptable, how that doesn't mean that there's going to be some level of practice that probably is nefarious. It should just be a hard stop that you just don't do that. So I think there's a major credibility issue now. There's a major credibility issue, not only with doctors and physicians and pharmacists and drug retailers, but also with the agencies that we've relied on and we trusted to do the right thing, that they didn't, and they showed it and then they covered it up. And I think that for me, being a bit of an outsider and looking in at just how bad it is and how bad it's been, how bad it was, this is a revolution that we're in. And this company that we're trying to build, the wellness company, it needs to be built as not only the tip of the spear, but the entire spear to create meaningful change. And we do that through physical, virtual. We do that through great products. We do that through preparing. We do that through solution building. We don't do that by profiting off sickness, by
Hmm.
profiting off fear, or keeping you in this perpetual state like they do now. Everybody deserves to live a healthy, long life. And as a company, that should be one of our duties and our missions to try and help you do that. There's no incentive right now for anybody else to do that. And that just shows how
Hmm.
broken it is.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, 100%. And again, you can't really trust. It's one thing for the FDA, for example, or any group to be wrong on something. It's another thing when they're wrong because they're corrupt, and that's a problem, right? Then they lose credibility for anything in the future. So when there's been all this discussion about heart problems for young healthy people from the vaccine, I'm not saying it's from the vaccine. I don't know, but you can't even talk about it without being censored or called a whack job. And in normal medicine, that should be able to be spoken about and discussed and
Agreed.
evaluated. And so again, we're expecting the truth from known liars. And so you're really good point about building the business and going to places like the wellness company that you can trust. So I would suggest everybody goes here. Again, twc.health. Look at it yourself, become a member, share it with others who may need this, especially if you have, elderly parents or anyone you think that might be in more need of this kind of help than others. It's definitely worth it. And some of the doctors' names that you mentioned are very, very highly regarded and trusted. So this is not just Foster coming up with an idea and going from there. This is truly backed up by
Yeah.
really good people. So yeah, great. Foster Coulson, founder of the Wellness Company. Thanks so much for coming on. It
Awesome.
was great talking to you.
Thanks for having me on, Jerry.
Yeah, my pleasure. And thank all of you for listening to this episode of Fide's podcast. Please check out all my podcasts and all the different podcast apps on YouTube, on Rumble, on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on rightamericamedia.com and on WHK radio /podcast.com as well. So thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time.